Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of God Concept. I'm your host, Mr. Pagan. How you guys doing tonight? It's a nighttime episode. No, I don't do a lot of episodes at night, but why not? I just came back from running basketball and all that. You know what I mean? Uh, eating ice cream, smoking a cigarette. I mean, normal shit. Today's episode, or tonight's episode rather, is about the character that you have, like your personality, who you are, is a direct reflection of the last life you lived. You know, because the soul isn't destroyed at all. The soul merely transfers from one place to another. So when your body dies, it's merely just you transition into the next level of life. And when that happens, the only thing that's retained with the soul is the memories, the feelings, the emotions you had from your last life, whether that be good or bad. And that reflects on the personality that you have as a person walking this life in this world today. You know what I mean? Who you are, the things you feel, why you feel those things, why you act this way, why your personality is the way it is. And it's because of the memories, the emotional ties that your soul have with certain memories and certain things. That's why you stand on whatever you stand on in this life. That's why you have whatever principles or morals you have in this lifetime. You know what I mean? They say that if there's a duality, right, to your soul, to you living life, right, with your soul, right, when you reincarnate into a new body, right, that's basically if you were a real good person in your last lifetime and you've been hurt, been battered and beat up and all that type of stuff in your last lifetime, more than likely in this one, in your next one, you'll be a more heinous person, a more crude person. You know, you'll be more of a person that don't like to take no shit. You won't hardly trust anybody. Because in your last lifetime, in your previous lifetime, you realize what trust and having too much love or loyalty gets you. It gets you backstabbed a lot of times. It gets you betrayed and heartbreak and all types of things. That's why you see, that's why you see a lot of people and they just don't give a fuck, or they just got this, they rather be feared than loved mentality. Like my man Rick Ross said, you know what I mean? Shout him out. But some people rather people fear them than love them because maybe in their last lifetime they've experienced what it's like to be on the other side of that coin, to rather have love than fear. And when you have love, when you have more love than you have fear, you know, from people outwardly coming inwardly to you, you could be betrayed easily because you show love, you show gratitude, and that way a person could weasel their way into your inner workings and in your home or in your in your life. They could work their way into your life and betray you so easily because you show a lot of love. You're more generous, you're more giving. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just a thing where, you know, I think a lot. You know, I dwell on different subjects and topics and things like that. You know, and me looking at my own personality and who I am in this lifetime. You know, just thinking about me basically. And me going through what I've went through in this lifetime. You know, me knowing what I know about the soul, about transitioning to the next level of life, and about reincarnation and things like that. If I was to reincarnate, my soul would take all these memories and emotions and feelings with it. So when I come back, when I reincarnate, if I was to reincarnate, right, then I would have a different personality than I have today. I wouldn't be the person that I am now. I wouldn't have that same personality. Of course, I wouldn't be this person, but my soul would be a lot more bitter and a lot more cold because of the things that I went through in this lifetime. Just that was just a deep, you know, a deep thought that I had that I wanted to pass out there, because it's like a lot of people go through things in life, you know what I mean? And you sit up here and, we sit up here and we dwell on this and that, whether we in a simulation or reality, whether we, are a certain religion or not, this and that. All of that is subject. All of that is, subject to change with time. As you grow, as you get older, you see that it's really not about a personal religion that you have, or personal, relationship that you have with a person. It's about the experience. And ultimately, the experience is going to change you over time. Over time, you're going to have time to look back and dwell on the past and see situations and people for exactly what they are and who they are and the role they played in your life. And it's a pivotal thing, because if you ever encounter the same soul that you encountered in the last life, and if they had played a pivotal role in your last life, there'll be some remembrance of it, per se. I always had a feeling, you know what I mean? Like, I grew up, I stood on certain things, you know what I mean? I stood for certain things, and certain things I didn't. I had certain beliefs, and I had certain things, like I always told myself, if I ever had children by a woman, that would be the woman I married. And that's what I did. I married the woman who had my first child and my second child. You know what I mean? And I'm guessing that's because why I always stood on that, even before I was even old enough to have kids or think about, a wife and all that type of stuff. I believe that I had that set in my personality, and I had certain things that I stood on because of a past life experience. None of us know, like, for sure, unless we go or actually meditate. Sometimes we could go and have a person, they have people that can tell you, oh, you live many lives and this and that, or, you was this person in your last life and this and that. I don't think anybody, let me not say that, I digress. Because there may be people out there who can tell you, what your soul went through in the last lifetime, or even probably just pinpoint it down to exactly who you were in your lifetime, which is fucking amazing to me. That means that person is a seer. You know what I mean? They have foresight. You know what I mean? They have a certain ability where they could, see these things, or even because your life story, okay? It may be a direct reflection of what you went through in your last life. So if these stories are tied, or if your next lifetime story is already written before you even get there, right? That means it's tied to the previous chapter. This means you not only have a story of your life, but in fact, you have a book. You have chapters that your soul is going to go through, that your spirit is going to go through. You have chapters that spirit is going to go through. And each chapter is going to be different. It's going to be a different setting, a different timeline, a different name, different characters, different people are going to play different roles in your life at that point. You might experience the same souls. I mean, if it is reincarnation, that means they've reincarnated too. So you'll experience them either in a younger or older state, depending on when they passed on from this lifetime and the time that it takes to reincarnate. That's deep as shit. To think about how much time do you have before your soul gets passed on into a new body? Me personally, when this body expires, right? And my soul and my memory goes back to the creator, goes back to the higher power, I just want to stay there. I don't want to be reincarnated anymore. I believe that I've learned all that I needed to learn. I believe that, I'm still learning here. When I'm done here, I don't think there will be anything else for me to know by living another life. It is not going to be anything else for me to learn from living another life. Not here on this earth, if this earth is still here. With the climate that the world is going through and all that's going on, if there's a time period that factors into your reincarnation, this earth might not even be here for that. We might not even be reincarnating onto this plane, on this planet. We might reincarnate in a whole nother place entirely. Same souls, same memories and emotions, but you don't remember them. They're remembered by the creator because they're stored. You know what I mean? Those memories and emotions and those feelings that you had from the last lifetime is stored because it's all a learning process. So it makes no sense for when this body expires, for the memories and all the emotion and all the everything, that all the experience to go away with it. No, that transfers over. That goes back to the source, to the creator, and that's stored there. So when you come back in, when you reincarnate, when you out of another womb, once you come back, you don't have the same stigmas and things that made you mad, or things that hurt you, or things that made you happy, or love, or whatever like that. You don't have those connections. You come back in, and the one connection that you have, or two connections that you have, is the people that actually helped you get here. Your connection to your mother and your father. And they'll raise you in the way that they want to raise you. Whether that's a religious person or whether that's a, just whatever. They'll raise you, but your personality and your character and your persona is still who you were meant to be at the end of the day. Your character and your personality and your persona is direct reflection of what your soul, your spirit, i.e. your spirit, has been through in the last lifetime, or in the last many lifetimes. We go through this thing where we all get, hung up on the worries of today, whether it's going to be war or not, whether what comes on the news, what's going on, who did this to whom, and, our sporting events, and, our gadgets and gadgets, all the computers and the technology, and, where are we going to work at? What are we going to do for our life? How are we going to accumulate money? How are we going to live our life? How are we going to survive, and things like that? But everything is provided. The one thing that we have that is created in the creator's image is our spirit, i.e. the soul. Our mind, which is not tangible. The brain is tangible. The mind is not tangible. Those things, the thing that make that gray matter animate and have electricity running through it, and your heart pump blood, and your legs to move, and your fingers and your eyes to see, and your tongue to taste, and your mouth to talk, and your ears to hear, and your nose to smell and breathe, your lungs to breathe, and your feet to walk. The thing that animates this whole body, the thing that essence is of the creator. This body is your instrument, your tool, your vessel, your ship, your soul, your spirit, your mind, your animations is what guides this ship. That is made in the Creator's image. So this vessel that we have is really all you need. I mean, besides food and water, depending on your personality or character that you have based upon the experience that your soul or spirit went through the last lifetime and the emotional connections, you might not even need a person or anybody at all, because your soul has been scorned, you've been hurt. So in your next lifetime, you might not be a people person. You might not like people at all. You might just want to seclude yourself away from people. You know what I mean? And we live in life. You're going to love, you're going to hate, you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to go through all of these things. And you're going to go through these things with people, with a person. But you're not actually interacting. Well, you are directly interacting with that person's soul or that person's spirit and what they're thinking about you. But you might be interacting with a person whose soul knows you from another life, right? From a different lifetime. And that soul might not have liked you in the last lifetime, right? So more than likely, they're not going to like you in this lifetime. Or it might be a flip, where this soul may have really loved you, but you really hurt them in the last lifetime. So in this lifetime, and the one that you live now, when you encounter that person with that soul, they're not going to like you. They're going to have a nasty taste in their mouth about you. That's why we feel the way we feel about some people. When you meet a person and you like, I just don't like that motherfucker for some reason. They ain't done nothing to you. They ain't never hurt you or nothing. It's just a feeling that you get. You just might not like a person. Or you might have a feeling or emotion or something in you about a certain situation that you in. And you might not like that situation because your soul been there before. It done that. It remembers something about this. Things that your soul remember and the emotion that it remember about a past experience might draw you to be addicted to a certain substance or a certain person or a certain thing, a situation, a status. Some people's souls are destined for greatness. So they just keep striving and keep going until they get the greatness. Some souls is just so beat up, bruised and torn and battered, where they go through life and they just regret everything and they just can't get right. And those people are destined to either keep that cycle going or change that soul's experience, to give their soul, their spirit, new experiences and new memories and new feelings about things, so that way their personality could grow and they could gain the personality or characteristic they want in the next lifetime and in this lifetime, because it works in tandem. They say that I say, because I never heard nobody say this but me, but how else do we experience God's grace and mercy, right? The Creator's grace and mercy, if not through each other? Because you can't call God on the phone and ask for grace and mercy. Yeah, you could pray, but ain't no guarantee that you're going to get grace and mercy from prayer. Trust me, I've tried. You know what I mean? I've tried praying, things like that. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, because it's a good thing. It's a great thing to have a personal connection with God. But when you need grace and mercy, when you yearn for grace and mercy, when you yearn for justice or to learn or to grow or to make it out of any situation in life, that grace and mercy is received through another person at times. Sure, you could extend grace and mercy to yourself, right? Because that was a question of mine too. Because if you have nobody to grant you grace and mercy, you know what I mean, that the Creator blessed them to bless you with, right? Then you have to ask the Creator to grant you grace and mercy so you could bless yourself with it. You know, sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes you don't have anybody that's going to grant you grace and mercy. Sometimes you have to be the one that brings grace and mercy to your own life, that brings justice and repentance and proper duality to your own life. You know, nobody's going to love you like you love you. Nobody's going to show you things or teach you things the way you're going to show you and teach you things, or feel about things the way you're going to feel about them. That's why it's called personal experience. That's why it's called individuality. Because you are an individual. You're born a singular cell, a singular soul, a singular body, a singular mind. Even though we may have soul ties and soul connections to people, and I believe that you could feel those soul ties and connections to people when you meet them. But you got to remember this, because it's detrimental and it's very important. When you meet a person that you have a strong soul tie, a strong soul connection to, and you know that y'all two spirits or souls encountered each other before, you can feel that emotion, that attachment, that emotional attachment, that spiritual attachment, that you can feel it. Be careful with these people, because I'm speaking from experience. Sometimes when you feel a soul connection with a person that's so strong, you got to make sure that they're still a good person. You know what I mean? Because some people, they portray to be a good person. They portray to be something that they're not. And you may have these strong feelings for that person, whether it's a male or a female or whomever. For whatever reason, you have this connection. You know, you have to make sure that you don't allow this person to manipulate you in many ways and hurt you or rob you of your greatness, your destiny. Because some souls that you came in contact with, they may know who you are. They may know your connection. They may know things that you don't know, right? And you don't even know it, or they might not know it. But they're different. They have different morals and values than they did the last lifetime. So if you're getting a good feeling about them, more than likely they were somebody good to you in your last lifetime, right? But what if you wasn't good to them in your last lifetime, or when your souls last connected or met? This means that soul has resentment and revenge on their heart and in their mind. And they might be looking to hurt you. They might be looking to weasel a way into your life just to hurt you and take you down. It's sad to say it, but that's a lot of our women have that. A lot of our women nowadays have been scorned so much in this lifetime and in the previous lifetime that they just take people down. They take people under. You know what I mean? A lot of men are like this too. I don't want to put it all on women. A lot of men are like this. A lot of men can't get past the personality that they have. They can't get past the personality that they have because it's so embedded in them. Because the emotional and the mental the soul has these emotions attached to it, and the soul give them this persona or personality that tells them that they gotta fuck everybody over. Fuck everybody. It's all about me, 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 me. It's all about me, 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 me. And that person, they might be, they might have a gift of gab, where they could con you out of anything, where they could talk shit and got a silver tongue, where they could, spit game and but they're a bad person. You got people that just like manipulating people. They can rob you of your grace and mercy. They can willingly make you give them your grace and mercy, your loyalty, your love, your time, your friendship, whatever you have. You know what I mean? Because You might feel a different way about these people or this person, but they have manipulation in their hearts and in their soul and on their mind. They have no emotional attachment. There's no emotion there because they're already set. Their personality is already set. They already are who they are because of what they've been through. So when they encounter you, you might have that spirit or soul, or your soul might be in that chapter where it's a good soul. It got a good personality. It's giving you a good characteristic. It's giving you a good aura, a good feeling about you and everybody around you. But your environment might not reflect the goodness that's in you, the greatness that's in you, the grace and mercy that's in you, the morals and values that's within you. Your environment might not reflect all that's good that's in you. And that environment is going to try to take all of that goodness, all of that grace and mercy, all of that is going to try to suck that out of you. It's going to bleed you fucking dry if you let it. You have to persevere and get over that hump. You know what I mean? You have to realize that's what's going on. And you have to realize when you get those feelings, when something is not good, when somebody is not good, when a situation is not good for you, that you got to pull away and you got to back out before it's too late. Because they'll paint you into a corner. They'll put you into a place that'll make you want to kill yourself, do harm to others. Hold on. And just leave your soul, you, in a bad situation that you can't figure out or you can't get out of for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And then it'll just be purely up to you. It'll be purely up to you whether or not you persevere through all of that, what you learn from that, what you take from that. You know what I mean? And you know, it's a hard thing to deal with. I know people personally that dealt with these things. I know people personally that dealt with a lot of situations in their life and they just don't understand why or can't comprehend why. You know, and a lot of things that we deal with is because, you know, a lot of things that we deal with that we don't understand is because that is on a level that's not of this world. It's a spiritual thing that you go through. It's something spiritual about the person you are. Even though you just live in life as being whoever you are, but whoever you are is a result of the life you lived this lifetime and the last lifetime. And it's ultimately going to reflect in the next lifetime when you get there. You know, it's a direct reflection of the things you've been through in the last lifetime, in this lifetime. And that'll be the end result of, you know, the emotional and the mental things that stored will have a direct impact on the next lifetime that you live. You know, it's a deep concept, and it's something that you have to really reflect, meditate. I want to even say pray. You know, you really gotta think about these things and think deeply into yourself. You know, think deeply into your mind, into your own thought realm, and really get the answers. You know, these answers are not easily obtained. These conversations aren't easily had with anybody. You know, nowadays, if it's not about sports, about some drama, about the news, about a movie or music or, you know, what's going on, and, you know what I mean? If it's not about pussy or ass or, you know, whatever it is, it's like people don't even want to talk about it. So who else you gonna have these conversations with? You know what I mean? Some people don't even like talking to people about mysticism and spirituality and you know, God forbid, personal situations that you're going through. You want to keep them so closely guarded to yourself and everything. But those are your testimonies. You know, those are the things you went through. Those are the things that you have to say out loud. You have to talk about certain things out loud, because even when you're talking to somebody else, those words are bouncing off of them, even though they're retaining this information, you know, hopefully for good, not for bad, hopefully to give you some constructive criticism and help you out and not hurt you and talk shit about you behind your back. Because that's what many people do. They'll take what you give them and they'll talk shit about you and slander you and come up with all types of negative thoughts about you and everything. And that even have effect, because you can feel when somebody don't really fuck with you. You can feel when somebody has a negative thought about you, or a negative emotion, or a bad disposition with you. And you might not even know why. It might be because of what they heard about you, or what they think about you, or they might have seen you doing something that they don't like, you know, judging a book by its cover or whatever. And that's why they got those hang-ups and everything. But when you talk to these people, ultimately it's so you could say it out loud, so you can hear yourself saying it. Because some of us don't think deeply. You know, some of us just don't get that deep in the thought, or maybe we do. You know what I mean? If you can have a thought that to hurt someone or hurt yourself, or to do kindness for somebody or help someone else, of course you know, hopefully you had a conversation with God. Hopefully you talk to yourself, not out loud, because that means you're crazy. But not mean they don't mean you're crazy, but some people just don't know how to keep their thoughts in, because we all have thoughts. It's the thing where you got to learn to zip your lip and have private thoughts and conversations in your mind inwardly. That's when you're talking to a higher plane. That's when you're speaking to somewhere else. You know, because it's a lot. It's a whole lot. I'll leave that for another episode of God Concept. Yeah, man, that's about my time. I figured I'd come on here and bear some of my thoughts, you know, bear some of my soul and my emotions, and, you know, what I deal with, what's on my mind at times. Because I just had that thought, and, you know, this is where I let it out at. This is my own personal therapy. You know what I mean? You could get on this podcast and hear me talking about anything at any time, during any moment. And it's because this is my release. You know, at times I don't have anybody I can have a direct conversation with, in-depth conversation with, to the point where I figure out things about me. You know what I mean? To the point, you know, to the point where I get an understanding, or a higher understanding of who I am, and who and where I want to be. You know what I mean? Man, it's so deep. It's so deep, man. But I like to thank whoever been supporting my music out there. I like to thank you. I like to thank the creator most of all. I want to say a prayer to the creator right now, live on God Concept, live on Creator's Concept, the creator's concept. You know, thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to grow and blossom into the person that I am. Thank you for allowing me to have the personality and stand on the things that I stand on. Thank you for allowing me to be in my children's life in the midst of whatever turmoil I'm going through in life. You know, I'm still maintaining to be the person that I am. You know what I mean? The personality, the character that I am. You know what I mean? Thank you for that. You know, thank you for giving me the mental fortitude to make it through all the attacks and all the hatred, you know. And I also like to thank you for all the love and grace and mercy that I received through other people, you know. For a long time, I just, you know, I've been around people, but I still felt alone. You know, you could be in a crowded room full of people, hundreds of people, or 50 people, or 20 people, however many people that you hang around, and you still feel all alone. And it's because they don't really know you. They know the person that you show to them. You know, when you go home or wherever you stay at and you're alone by yourself and you're, thinking to yourself and you could be completely honest and open about everything that you feel and everything that you think and everything that you go through that people don't know. People just don't know what you go through as a person on a daily basis living life. People don't know what they put you through, and people don't know what other people put you through. People don't know what you put people through. Because you can put people through a lot of bullshit yourself. And those are the things that you got to think about. You know what I mean? Those are the things that is lingering on other people's minds sometimes, what you put them through. So what's lingering on your mind is what somebody else put you through. And sometimes you done been through so much, you don't give a fuck what you put somebody else through. You just don't care. But that's not right. You got to care. You got to, if you're not repenting, praying to God and things like that, one level that's close to doing that, not saying that you can't repent to God or shouldn't repent to God, because you should. But you got to realize, everybody needs to realize that God is in each and every one of us. Because our soul, i.e. our spirit, is made in that image of God, of the Creator. So sometimes when you repent or you want forgiveness, you actually got to talk to the person that you harmed or did wrong to get that forgiveness or to gain that, you know what I mean? I got a saying that I used to say all the time. I forgive you, you forgive me. Because if I forgive you, that's ultimately me forgiving myself. And whether you forgive me or not, that's up to you. But if you don't forgive me, then you're not forgiving yourself. You're not allowing yourself to move past the situation that me and you've been through. You're not going to gain any growth or any, you know what I mean? What's the benefits in that? You have to forgive for a situation. Some situations are just unforgivable. I understand. You know what I mean? You got your morals and values. You got what you stand on and all of that. Some things happen in people's lives that they just can't forgive. You know what I mean? And trust me, I listen. If you listen to my podcast, man, I've been going through some shit with people that just ain't forgivable. I've been going through some unforgivable shit. And guess what? I still forgive them. Because forgiveness for them is not for them. It's for me. And just because I forgive, it allows me to continue on and grow and learn, right? But it also gives me something else that I got to stand. It gives me a new point of view. It gives me something else I got to stand on. It gives me, okay, just because I forgave you, don't mean I'm going to accept you back into my fucking life. Bottom line, just because I could forgive, because that forgiveness is for me, don't mean that we can continue. I might see you and not bust you in the fucking head or something like that. And that's just because I don't want to be locked the fuck up or in jail or something. Or I don't want that hurt. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. But if it came to that, if you keep confronting me or keep fucking with me, you know what I mean? It might happen because you brought it upon yourself. But even my forgiveness, I don't even got to tell you I forgive you. I'm going to just stay away from you and keep my distance. Because I don't want to go down that road with nobody. I have other lives that I'm worried about, that I have to care for, that I have to show things and I have to teach things to, i.e. my children. I have children. Once you have children, you can't continue to entertain petty shit No matter how big or how small. You can't keep entertaining petty shit. The best thing you could do is think about the situation at hand and move accordingly to the situation at hand. In my situation, I'm doing what my hand is called for. Right now, I'm just in a place where I have to be there for my children. And I have to create a new life for us. A new life for me. I'm in the refining process. You know how they take a nugget of gold and they melt it down and they make a chain out of it? I'm taking that chain that I once was and I'm melting it down and I'm making something new of it. I'm making a ring out of a chain, you know what I mean? I'm doing something differently. You know what I mean? That's all it is. In our lifetimes, we live many lives. You have to choose ultimately, and you have the power ultimately to become whatever it is you want to become in life. Whatever you want to do with your life, whatever somebody led you to be in your life, whether somebody led you to be a drug dealer, or led you to be a basketball player, or led you to be a singer, or led you to be a doctor or a lawyer or a bus driver or a teacher at school or whatever it is, led you to be a police officer, or led you to be this person or that person. You can lead your life in a different direction. The Creator gave you everything that you needed. The one tool that you needed when you came into this world, you had already. And that's this vessel. You have eyes, ears, hands. You could sing, you could dance, you could be as clever as you want. You could be an actor. You could be whatever it is you choose to be. And that's the gift of life. You just have to embrace it and move the way you want to move. You may encounter people that don't want you to become something different. But that's okay. That's on them. You have to continue to do what you have to do and take the steps that you have to take in order to get the life that you want to live. And until you get the life that you want to live. Other people might not even understand it. Or look at you and just think like dumb shit. Oh, I can't believe they doing that. Why they doing that? They fucked up their whole life. No, you didn't. You don't know. You don't know that while they're getting out of one life, while they're moving on from this life that they was living before, this job or this situation, while they moving on from that, they're moving and transitioning into a whole new life for their self, for their family, for what they love. All of us have the passion. All of us have the drive and the willpower. And it's like, you have to do things with your life that's going to make you happy ultimately. Because one thing about it, nobody wants regret. The what ifs, why this and why this. If only I shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I didn't. This is why we try. And through trying, we make achievements. And those achievements is the things, the fuel that keep us going. And let us, and that's the affirmations that we're doing something right, that we're going in the right direction, that we're moving in the proper way that we want to move, that we should move in life, and creating anything new in life. It's never easy. It's never an easy task in getting to the goal that you want to, in getting there, you might make a bunch of achievements. Then somebody knock you off your little achievement ladder. They might knock you down 3-4 steps or whatever. But that don't mean that you're going to stop climbing that achievement ladder to get to where you want to go. That means you got some extra steps to take. That means they knocked you down 4 steps and you had 20 to go. That means now you got 24 steps to take. What, you going to stop? You're going to stop taking the steps that it take to build a new life for yourself and do what you love and do something more natural to you because you got knocked 4 steps down. You done came up 30 steps. This is a 50-step ladder. You done came up 30 steps. You got knocked down 4 or 5 steps. You going to let that make you just say, you know what, fuck this. I ain't going up this ladder no more. And climb down 25, 26 steps? Fuck no. You keep going up that fucking ladder because you halfway there. You're halfway there. You might be closer to halfway there. But you'll never get there if you keep allowing people to knock you down that ladder. Or if you decide, this ladder too hard to climb, I'm going to just get back down. I'm going to get off this ladder and go back. No, baby. You got to keep going up that fucking ladder until you reach the top. Once you reach the top, you made it. You made it. That's a level of success that a lot of people don't achieve. Many people have, but not many will. You have to have that story for yourself. You have to have that determination and will for your children. And you got to do it, because the Creator, gave you the ability to do it. But that's my time, man. This has been God Concept. I'm your host, Mr. Pagan. Thank y'all, love y'all. Please check out the music, check out the books. I got more songs coming in. Like, share, subscribe, all of that. All the doo-wops and diddy-doos and diddy-don'ts. All right, y'all. Peace.